Hey everyone, welcome to Studio Sunday with Robyn and Terry.
Hello.
It's been a busy week here. We finished up inventory in the warehouse and then we started a big project of kind of reorganizing. So it is daunting but very rewarding in the end, hopefully. During all that, we found a few copies of the Strangers in Paradise source book and lyrics and poems, which were two little floppies that Terry did
A long time ago.
during the run of Strangers in Paradise. And so we're going to put those up on the website this week. Look for them. They're just little floppies. It's not a big fat book. So that's going to come in the store this week. Anyway, Terry's working on 5 years number 8, and that will go to the printer next week. So that means there are only 3 issues left.
I hadn't told anybody that.
Hey.
Guess what? We're going to issue 10, and that's it for the end of the story. So.
Good. I'm ready to move on to a new series. Do you have some ideas?
Yeah, I do. I'm not saying anything yet, though.
I have no idea, so
Yeah.
I'll be anxious to talk about that. So today was the Houston Marathon. We walked down there and watched them run for a little while. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're fast.
A gorgeous day. They were hoping to set some records, so I hope they did. Okay, well, let's get on with our questions.
Okay.
The first one I really like because I want to see how you answer this.
Uh-oh.
Do you always wear long sleeve shirts when you draw?
No, I don't. I'm covering up these massive tattoos right here. No, actually. I'm just trying to dress nice for you. I actually draw a lot of times in t-shirts. I found that if I wear my nice shirts when I work, I always get some sort of ink stain on them. I don't know if you can see all the ink spots back here, but I'm just flinging ink.
Why are you flinging ink?
Well, because it's 2 things. First of all, it's the brush when I'm like that, and then I come over here and there's always like a drop or something. And then when you use these guys, the pinpoints, if you come over here, if you dip it in ink, dip it like that. I do like that to get rid of loose ink that's underneath it, but there's oftentimes some sort of little drop that comes off. And there it is on my brand new jeans and shirt and stuff like that.
And is it permanent ink? It won't come out?
You know what? It actually does come out of jeans. The ink that I use. Where is it? I'll show it to you. I use Pelican ink, and it's the one that I like the best. And it does wash out of jeans if you put, go blot it and then wash them. But when it comes to shirts, I can see faint drops on the tails of almost all my shirts that I've had longer than a few years. So it's just the way it is, the life of a comic book inker. But, if Robyn buys me something nice, I don't want to trash it. So,
Okay, well, that's good to know.
That's my answer.
I was wondering what you were going to say because there is ink on every wall in this house.
There is. And you can tell what I've been inking because I'll have the stains here. And a lot of times I'm binging to finish a book right before a show, and then we go to the show and it looks like I don't clean my fingernails. That's not true. It's ink and you can't get it off. So you can tell an inker by his fingers.
Okay, I'm sure everybody's really interested in all this.
Yeah, be careful.
Okay, our next question is, would you ever consider writing or drawing for a title other than one of your own?
Yeah, I would, and I have. I've got a shelf up there full of stuff that I wrote for other people to draw, and books that I drew and other people wrote. So I would still consider that. Has to be fun. Has to be something I'm interested in. But yeah, and it's actually it's a good break to do that. It's a good way to get out of your box for a day and go play with somebody else in their box. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, actually. I don't think I have time to list all the stuff that I did, but there's probably a list somewhere.
What is the favorite thing you've done? What is the favorite thing you've written besides your own stuff?
Well, I always answer the same thing as Spider-Man loves Mary Jane. I like that I got to do that because it's the Spider-Man cast in high school with the people that I like, which is, of course, Gwen, and then Flash and Liz, and Harry's still in high school and he's not a weirdo yet. He's just borderline weird. He's still savable, you know, but and then Mary Jane was the wild girlfriend, but the focus was, you know, Gwen, and I liked Gwen and Peter. It says Mary loves Mary Jane, but I threw Gwen in there. It's complicated, so you have to read my run on it to see the dynamic.
What about drawing? What is your favorite thing that you've drawn?
The favorite thing I've drawn was an issue of Fables. Huh, bet you didn't know that. I drew an issue of Fables that Bill Willingham wrote, and it had gnomes in it, and they were going to they kidnapped Sleeping Beauty. So I got to draw all the, Sleeping Beauty was laid to rest. I had her in the town square. No, Bill had her in the town square. I just drew it. And everybody came to pay their respects, and all the men in the county came to kiss her. So I got to draw the line of the queue of men doing that and all the different, you know, hero losers. And then the gnomes came to kidnap her that night. And he said, you can do the gnomes design however you want. So I made sure that all the gnomes were left-handed and they all run like dorks. And I just got to put in funny little things like that, you know. That was a lot of fun. I told Bill, please don't draw anything that involves a lot of architecture, you know, like, you know, a castle with a bunch of windows and things like that. I'm not good at it. I'm not Gerhard. And so he gave me a town that was covered in vines. I don't know if that was any easier or not, but he had some pity on me. Architecture is not my strength. Perspective, I'm not very good at.
Well, maybe you can draw or write something for another title in between these next two books.
If something fun comes along, I would definitely talk to you about it. So I'd talk to you about it too. Maybe I'll ask you what I should draw.
Yeah, you guys give us some ideas.
Yeah, I'm open.
Okay, so those are our two questions for today, but I know that you want to do a little drawing lesson. Is that right?
Yeah, you know, we've been trying to draw more. And so I think I've done expressions, and then showed you how I drew a figure last week, a full figure, and what I was thinking of when I drew it and picked the final pose. Which leads to the very next thing, which is body language. If you're going to draw faces and bodies, how they stand and what they're doing is everything to telling the story. It's so important. And I thought maybe we'd have a drawing lesson about that, about how I pick body language to help emphasize the moment and the words. So you can't just keep drawing them straight up and down in hero poses, arms akimbo. At some point, they've got to let out some personality through their body. So here's how we do that. So if you'll take 2 seconds and let me regroup here, we'll meet back here. Okay, so when we're talking about body language, this is kind of it in a nutshell. If you take it down to the simplest icon, a triangle, and you can do a little cartooning animation walk thing, you can see which way this triangle is pointing. He looks up, he walks, he gets ready to jump, he trips, falls. This is, you know, you can tell what he's doing without expressions, without arms, without a head. You can see these two meet and, you know, check each other out. This guy's leaning forward, this one's leaning back. They touch, kick away. Body language, right? It's not fair for me just to go through and show you, you know, drawings that I've done. So let's do one from scratch. But that's basically what we're talking about body language. You know, there's more to just drawing the face and then that same full figure pose. You have to get it to move, and then that's just the animation of life. So say we have we have our head, and you have a person standing right here. Okay? And they're waiting for a bus. I'm just making this up as I go along, guys. Okay. If somebody comes up and stands too close that this person doesn't like, that guy, and there's less than 6 inches between them. Now this guy's going to, right? If this guy turns around and says, "Good morning," but they have bad breath. So yeah, I'm just playing with the poses here. What do you think this guy's gonna do? Lean back a little bit, right? Back off. Let's see if I can do it with this. That's basically a personal attack, bad breath. So at the hip pivot point, holding his ground, his head would be like this, and he can either be looking at that way, or if it's really bad, he'll turn his head away to get the nose as far away from that attack as possible. So how do you go from standing up straight to the offense? Same thing. I usually start with my head up here, know where I'm going. The weight of the briefcase will keep that arm straight, just like the pail that I messed up on the beach. This body, torso right here, weighs the most of the body, and all that weight just went to one leg, this leg. This leg just had a lot of weight lifted off of it, so judging by the kneecaps, this kneecap is now free of some weight. And at some point, you can either just lean back on the inside of this foot, or you can actually even go way up and get off on one toe. I don't know if we would do that with this guy in a business suit or whatever he's in. This arm would hang down, shoulders tilt, probably keep the head up a little straight, and let's say or like that. Okay, that's how we went from stand up straight to, I need more space here. I'm not liking you. This guy, let's say he gets his feelings hurt. So he holds his pose because it's hard to move a lot of weight just at will like this guy. So his head may go from up here to thinking of the base of the neck right there, and the neck can either go straight up to the chin, or it has, this is the sphere of rotation. Let's say he goes head down a little bit, hangs his head, is that a happy guy? No. Is that a happy guy? No. And it's just from the angle here and the head dropping here. This guy's body didn't change anything. It was all in the angle of the head. I can change this on a dime with just 4 strokes of a pencil. Now he's laughing, happy. Now maybe he's offended at a joke, or he's laughing at him or something, right? So the expression is everything, but you can use the same body language to be laughing. Now he's mad. He's got his feelings hurt. Now he's, questioning what just happened. He's still got his feelings hurt. If you wanted to use the body more to get into this, you can he could do the breath test. Blow into his own hand. And then as a cartoonist, you might, right, show the breath like that. So that's basically what you're looking for in terms of what I call it is the silent story. There could be dialogue up here, but you don't need it, do you? If you have dialogue up here, it's because you have something clever to add to this, or an ironic twist on top of the language, but the basics of your story is already visually there. Now, as a comic book artist, where you can get messed up is if you draw this and then it's given to a writer to touch up, and the writer writes different dialogue that doesn't match your body language. And that can happen if you're a work-for-hire artist who relies on visual storytelling a lot, as opposed to, I'm drawing a beautiful room with people standing in there. You could write it a million different ways. But if you're working in close-ups or medium close-ups, and these body languages are very specific to the dynamic, the writer needs to be sympathetic to that. And if they're going to add dialogue, it needs to reinforce what you're looking at. Otherwise, it becomes Space Theater 3000, right? Where they say words that don't match the movie on the screen. I think I'm kind of running out of time, but I'll show you one more thing real quick. A lot of things about body language have to do with weight. So in the school of cartooning, they always show you that you've got your basic Donald Duck character body here. And that's just an easy thing for everybody to draw quickly in a cartooning class. If this guy is going to bend over, it's like that. So you learn how to bend this little butterbean body, and then when it's time to draw, your cartoon people, you're thinking of a butterbean body, and then you just kind of keep working on it until you get to your human level. But you could picture how I could butterbean and string stick figure these arms and legs and everything once you've got this kind of thing in your mind. This is the best way to go through a lot of poses real fast, and you can see your body language from it. If you're feeling mad that day, you can draw that. If somebody needs to run, you can work on your motion like that. If somebody is unquestioning or trapped in a lie, you can work on things like that. One of the things that I've found is really helpful when you get into tells. If you're an FBI profiler or you do police work and you interview suspects, they have learned 100 million ways to read your body language to be able to tell if you're nervous or lying or telling the truth or hiding something. Poker players do this. Professional poker players also do this. And it's a great way to see all the little things that we humans have in common that we just kind of do without even knowing. Like if you're thinking and put your hand to your mouth like that. If you're looking away while you're thinking about something, or looking at somebody and thinking about what they're saying, you don't agree, or you do agree and it's a great devilish thought. I mean, see how it just changes on a dime? It's so important, every little thing you do. So I think that's what this is for. the eraser. So you can easily go in there and change things, and you think, well, no, that's too evil. Let's make them happy, and innocent like that. So that's basically it. And I try to cover as much of this as possible in my How to Draw book. There's 5 different lessons in there, and it's available on our website. It's just a lot of these kind of tips that I picked up over the years drawing comics, and I think it would be useful to you. So I hope you have fun with this lesson, and if you have something else you want me to talk about in the coming weeks, just let me know, and I'll do my best to share with you what I've learned. Thanks for watching.
Okay, see you next week, guys.
Bye.